Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Before we get started, I just want to remind everybody that we will have a guest today. Shalonda Webb, a councilwoman from the 4th District, will be joining us. She just texted me, said she's a bit late, so we'll be ready to give her a few minutes at the chairman's discretion. So I will do that introduction. I just don't want you to be tripped up when we do that. I think it'll probably work pretty nicely to do in when we have unscheduled business, which is actually around number 9, but we'll play it by ear. I just want everybody not to be surprised. So thank you, everybody.
Good morning. I'd like to call to order the Board of Commissioners special meeting for Thursday, May 14th, 2026. Ms. Bennett, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Gladney.
Present.
Commissioner Moore.
Present.
Commissioner Simmons.
Present.
Commissioner Jackson Jennings.
Present.
Commissioner Cox.
Here.
Commissioner Galladay.
Here.
Commissioner Johnson.
Here.
Commissioner Beach. We have a quorum and you can proceed.
Thank you. The board generally allows for in-person public comments at these meetings. I am here in person and I am not seeing anybody lined up to speak. I don't think I'm incorrect there. So we will move on from number 3, public comment. Ms. Bennett, could you please provide a summary of the written public comments that were received for today's meeting?
Yes, Chair. We received 2 written public comments for today's meeting. Those will be included in today's minutes and are included in the packets. They have been distributed to the board as well as staff. 2 additional comments came in overnight. However, those will be held until the next meeting.
Thank you. On the minutes have been provided for review by the board. Are there any corrections to the minutes? If not, I will entertain a motion and a second to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Deborah Moore seconds, but there was a correction and I spoke to Myra about that yesterday.
Yes, and I did make that change for Commissioner Moore.
So that correction has been made on the version we're voting on?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Thank you. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? The motion passed. On to the report of the president. Mr. Roach, do you have a report?
I do, Chairman. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. So, of course, we are in budget season, and as a matter of fact, I want to thank you for your consideration of the agreements for St. Clair County, which are in front of you today. I also want to thank St. Clair County and, of course, Mr. Ken Sharkey with working on that budget. They're a great partner and usually the first one out of the box for us to complete our budget approval process, and they are this year. So I think that's very good. We are moving ahead with budget with our other funders as well. As a matter of fact, one of the reasons that Councilwoman Webb has asked for to come by and address you today is because we've been working very rigorously on approval from St. Louis County, and that's going well. We are actually moving through a new CDL process there, which means that we have some one-on-one meetings with her. Obviously, Tammy Paris is present at those meetings with me. Ron Forrest attended the last one to talk about service in North County, and I would characterize them as going well. And then we also have a meeting with the mayor on Monday to go over the budget presentation. And then from that, we move to budget committee of the Board of Aldermen, We have had some good meetings with the Board of Aldermen, including with the president, associated with the movement of the Green Line. So let me just shift to that, and that is an update on the Green Line extension. As you know, the mayor and the administration in the city of St. Louis has asked us to pivot over to what is known as a BRT, or Bus Rapid Transit consideration for the Green Line. We have negotiated that successfully and have received partnership from the Federal Transit Administration. In fact, I received a letter just on Tuesday from an administrator there granting an extension of what is known as project development, or the PD phase from FTA. This is a nice victory for us, allows us a little bit more time for engineering associated with the Green Line, but also notes and as an evidentiary piece that our partnership with Federal Transit Administration continues to be rigorous and strong in expansion of the system. And speaking of expansion of system, I was very disappointed that I was unable to attend some of the initial testing rides of the Mid-America extension. That partnership with St. Clair County has continued to be extremely strong, and the extension going out to Mid-America Airport is going very well. It now moves into the testing phase. And that's exactly what they're doing. So I was hoping to go on that's the one time I like empty trains, because we're not ready for passengers yet. We're doing testing. These are low-speed tests having to do with the operability and looking at all of the details, including the catenary and the rails. So very excited about that development. Our testing can take as long as 2 months, but we do expect it to be shorter. But so far, all of those have been going well. We really appreciate that partnership and the work of not only St. Clair County, but good work from Gonzalez Engineering, who is St. Clair's engineering team working in their behalf. So unless there's any questions, that concludes my report. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you for that report. Are there any questions for Mr. Roach? Hearing none, we are on to the report of the Audit, Finance, and Administration Committee. Commissioner Jackson Jennings, do you have a report?
I do, Mr. Chair, and thank you. Good morning, everyone. A virtual meeting of the Audit, Finance, and Administration Committee was held on March the 26th, 2026, immediately following the Board of Commissioners special meeting. The draft minutes of that meeting are included in the meeting materials today under item number 6. The AFA committee recommended approval of 3 items, which are noted on today's agenda as consent agenda item number 10. A, contract award general legal services, resolution 1480. B, contract award third-party administrator claim services, resolution number 1481. C, contract award dental plan administration services, resolution number 1482. In addition, at the March meeting, an item was presented by Dave Tobin, Director of Total Awards, regarding the salaried PTO retirement savings program, which was held for further discussion. President and CEO Talby Roach presented information pertaining to the operating agreements with St. Clair County, which has been included on today's agenda for approval under item number 13, SCCTD FY 2027 Operating Agreements, Resolution number 1493. Several informational items were also presented at the committee meeting, including pension plans 401k, retirement savings program OPEB trust, investment performance updates as of December 31st, 2025, financial statements, treasurer's report, and treasurer safekeeping report. This concludes my report for the Audit, Finance, and Administration Committee. Thank you.
Thank you for that report, Commissioner. On to the report of the Operations Committee. Commissioner Moore, do you have a report?
I do not have a report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. On to item number 8, the report of the Safety and Security Committee. Commissioner Simmons, do you have a report?
Excuse me, yes, I do. A virtual meeting of the Safety and Security Committee was held on March 5th, 2026 at 8:30 a.m. The draft minutes of the meeting are included in your meeting materials today under item number 8. The Safety and Security Committee is approving one item, which is noted on today's agenda as consent agenda item number 10. Okay, sole source WAPTEC proposal, CIS web and audio enhancement resolutions 1490. At the committee meeting, Kevin Scott, the Executive Vice President of Public Affairs and Security, also provided a security platform infrastructure update. This concludes my report of the Safety and Security Committee.
Thank you for that report, Commissioner Simmons.
Mr. Chairman, it's Deborah Moore. Let me circle back. I'm looking at the executive committee agenda, not the board. I'm sorry. Got
It
a lot
happens.
of pieces of paper going on here. I do have a report.
We can go back to you. Okay, the report of the Operations Committee, and thank you for that report, Commissioner Simmons.
All right, let me go back. A virtual meeting of the Operations Committee was held on March 26, 2026, following the AFA committee meeting. The draft meeting minutes of that meeting are included in the meeting materials today under item 7. The Operations Committee recommended approval of 7 items, which are noted in today's agenda as consent agenda item 10. D, contract award, DeBoliver bus cleaning resolution 1483. E, sole source authorization purchase of food and fuel for riverboats, resolution 1484. F, contract modification, Union Station Tunnel Rehabilitation Design Services, Bojeski and Maskers, resolution 1485. G, contract modification, 79th Street retaining wall rehabilitation, time extension, resolution 1486. H, contract award, micro transit services, resolution 1487. I, contract modification, micro transit pilot program, resolution 1488. And J, contract modification, employee medical testing and wellness services, resolution 1489. In addition, at the March meeting, 2 items were presented by Ron Forrest, Executive Vice President and Chief Operating Officer, Metro Transit, and Jerome Bakatan, requiring further discussion. They are noted on today's agenda for approval under item 11, sole source authorization, Union Station Tunnel Rail Rehabilitation, KCI Construction, resolution 1491, and item 12, contract award, track rehabilitation near McDonald Boulevard Tunnel, Millstone Weber, resolution 1492. Also at the committee meeting, an operations report and a workforce update was provided by Mr. Ron Forrest, Executive Vice President and Chief Operation Officer, Metro Transit. An executive session was not held. This concludes my report for the Operations Committee, Mr. Chairman. And sorry for that earlier confusion.
That's all right. Thank you, Commissioner. On to number 9, the consent agenda. Are there any adjustments to the consent agenda? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda as outlined on the agenda.
Simmons, so moved.
Second.
Hearing a motion and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The motion has passed. Item number 11, sole source authorization, Union Station Tunnel Rail Rehabilitation. I will ask Ron Forrest and Kelly Ham for comments.
Thank you. Commissioners, we're requesting authorization to issue a sole source contract to KCI Construction to rehabilitate the track structure within and just west of Union Station Tunnel. Our maintenance away team has determined that the track and ballast in this area require replacement, and this project will also improve tunnel clearance to reduce safety risks such as electrical arcing. Additionally, we will replace the top section of the MSD sewer beneath the track with a structural concrete lid to ensure long-term stability. A sole source approach is being recommended because KCI is already mobilized. They're performing ongoing tunnel rehabilitation activities, and so they're best positioned to complete this work efficiently while minimizing costs, schedule impacts, and service disruptions. Final design build on plans from STV. The final design will build on plans from STV Incorporated, with KCI completing both design and construction. We are recommending a sole source approach because KCI is there. Again, they're already performing that tunnel project rehabilitation. And using a separate contractor would increase costs, extend timelines, and add operational complexity. So the project will be funded through FY24 federal formula grants funds and Prop M local matching funds. And based on these factors, management is requesting, the Operations Committee recommends that the Board of Commissioners authorize the President and CEO to enter into a sole source contract with KCI in an amount not to exceed $6,166,032.58, which includes a 15% contingency for track rehabilitation near Union Station Tunnel. The proposed contract end date is February 28th, 2027.
If I can make one additional comment, please, Chairman. And that is, we were lucky enough to host several commissioners and FTA at the Union Station Tunnel site. And I think one of the really interesting aspects is it took us a little extra time because at the same time that we were down at the tunnel, there's trains moving back and forth constantly. And there's a lot of contractors involved, and I encourage everybody to go on these tours, including myself. It's always a really interesting aspect when you can see the complications, the multiple contractors, the rigorous dedication to safety, all while having an operating rail line. And that's the exception of both for number 11 and 12 today. Part of the reason of moving these forward is to be sure that we're doing as little single tracking as possible. We will just now be finishing some single tracking associated with the project at 79th Street in St. Clair County. Another project that is required tremendous coordination, especially from a utility standpoint. And it's very, very important for the riding public that we try to limit these single tracking events and stack them appropriately. One of the really interesting revelations when we're down on the project like that and you're seeing trains move by basically every 10 minutes is you see how difficult it is to advance projects like this safely. So I think it's a very, very good idea for us to try to advance this in conjunction for both 11 and 12 because they have the same aspect with the track rehabilitation, and it puts us in a better stead as the future moves forward. Thank you very much.
Are there any questions on this matter?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Roach or Mr. Forrest, how long have we known that this extra work was going to have to be completed on this project?
I'll ask Kelly Ham. He's here to render his subject matter expertise on this. He's one of our, he's in our capital projects division.
Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you for the question. So we knew that the project, the 10% design, we looked at different alternatives for lowering that track to meet that electrical clearance for the new LRVs. So we looked at couple options, but what we decided on was we wanted to maintain a standard bill of materials for maintenance purposes. And this rail system is, the rail was used freight rail when it was constructed in 93. So corrugations, beat and battered hit from the tonnage, heavy tonnage. So building to our newest standard, that was what the engineers were tasked with designing. So with the new trains coming, we wanted to, the design team had looked at the dynamic clearance envelope. Separate design from STV was they were tasked with lowering that track. So we went 6 inches. So this is at Union Station Tunnel as well as McDonald Boulevard. We'll talk about in a minute. So lowering that system 6 inches, the transitions gets longer, right? Because we didn't want to disturb the hard pan. So the ballast section is basically 8 inches, 12 inches of subballast and ballast that the sleepers and rail sets in, and then the hard pan, we just don't want to disturb that. So that profile of the track stretching out, it gets longer. So that's where we're at. So these designs from 10%, that's recently passed off to KCI's design team, and this proposal is fairly new.
So my question is, was this partially due to the new trains coming in and what we've been discussing over the last several months, I guess, on the design of these new cars? Does that have something to do with this?
Yes, absolutely. So, again, we met with MSD, STV Incorporated did a sketch for this modification to the sanitary storm combination sewer. KCI is more equipped, like Ron said, just the fact that they're already mobilized, and that is their expertise and that type of work. So it just made sense that they pick up the baton right there and move forward. And that would be the most efficient way to make the modification and meet the schedules.
I'll just add a little bit more specificity here. So, we've been working on a solution, the best approach to this for some time now. Like Talby said, what we've determined was that in order to minimize service impact, it would be best that we take this approach as opposed to going out for a new RFP, because again, we have the subject matter expertise there. They're already in the area, and it minimizes impact to our customers. So for instance, with this approach, we'll only have 2 shutdowns this year affecting the airport, service to the airport. If we were to go out with an RFP, then that would increase by an additional shutdown, a long-term shutdown that would impact service to the airport. So, and also this approach allows us to make sure that the track is ready, the tunnel area is ready for the new LRVs when they come in and they have to do their alignment testing and their burning and all that. So it's a combination of making sure that we minimize impact to our customers, we prepare for the new trains, and also we increase the safety buffer for our existing trains.
So, I'm just a little concerned that, let me ask this question. If the new cars weren't coming in, would this project have to be done to this magnitude?
So if I can answer that question, so the answer being yes. One of the critical points of both the McDonald and Union Station tunnel approaches is they're angled approaches that have to do with the oldest part of our alignment. Specifically, when Mr. Lamb references the very first, so phase 1 of Metrolink, both of these are phase 1 approaches, and you heard him mention the issue with the original railing. So in other words, we used rail for the original phase 1 approach of Metrolink, and through 30 years of service, there has been, especially at angled approaches at tunnels, which includes Union Station and the McDonald Tunnel, so both of the projects, maintenance has always identified these areas as in a need for improvement. We had another area where we had a need for improvement that was a little bit older in legacy, that was actually in Illinois, close to Fifth and Missouri, because as you remember, Phase 1 included going to Illinois, and that's where some of this older legacy track was included. But it is also true, Chairman Simmons, that we are trying to be sure that in advancing this project, it gives us extra room for that clearance for the new LRVs. That is correct. And that's a correct observation. What we are trying to do is be sure that every single project that we do increases that buffer and the capability of our system within the new LRV project. So all of these are related and very important to be stacked on top of each other.
And in the sole source, who comes up with the determination other than we have the contractor on site and with this $6 million price tag? That's my concern. I just speaking for myself, I get concerned when I continue to hear meeting after meeting that we have sole source because of this reason. And then are these exchange orders that are coming in? I'm just wondering if whoever our project managers are, to me, I think this was a debacle that started from day one. And Mr. Roach, you and I have had this conversation before. And again, I know the project has to get done, but I would hope that somewhere, sometime down the road, that this Board of Commissioners can get a full detail of what actually took place from these new cars that's been ordered. And now here we are with a price tag of another $6 million under a sole source contract. So I think this Board of Commissioners need to be brought to speed on what happened, why it happened, and is there any more of these surprises coming down the pike to us?
Well, so we're going to disagree a little bit, Chairman Sims,
We
which is
always
totally fine. We do all the time, and it's okay because these are really complicated issues. And I did prepare you asked specifically, and we're meeting very shortly because you asked for some extra detail associated with the LRV project, which I'm going to give you this afternoon. And I can provide to the entire board, which is totally fine and normal within a project of this size and scope. But specific to Union Station Tunnel and to how we figure out how to legacy issue is, we have been working for months and months on these issues. And for instance, the sole source justification, which is very detailed and written in position papers, both this time, also in subcommittee, and then before, and with multiple discussions in this very board, we have talked about why that was important and better for the system. One of the reasons is to take an experienced contractor that we're doing well and also stack projects on that are federally funded right now. Because, for instance, we received federal funding for the renovation of the Union Station Tunnel. So it made sense for us to sandwich those projects together because I have a 120-year-old tunnel that needed to be dealt with. So there are issues. Now, I also want to be fully cognizant, and it is true that we had an issue with an original measurement, and that's entirely accurate, and I did have to take an employment action based on that mistake associated with the change order on the LRV having to do with the air conditioning cowling. That's correct. The team missed that. That was an unfortunate mistake that had to be corrected, and as you know, I brought that to you, gave you a briefing on it, and hopefully provided that explanation. But I'm going to continue to come and give explanations on a very complex project like this. It's important that we come to you and discuss what is the nature of the sole source and what are the issues associated with how the tracks work, and what the legacy tracks are, what kind of dynamic envelope that creates. It is also true that since 1993, that the buffer that is required from a safety standpoint has increased. It is a greater buffer than we originally designed for in 1993. And that makes sense because it is a safer system. We have had issues of arcing, so essentially static electricity arcing with the existing units right now. So we concur with the safety increase in increasing this buffer. That it is correct. But I have to make adjustments as an organization associated with that, and it is hard to do with a 120-year-old tunnel. So there are very many layered issues associated with this. And I do have a full report on how the LRV project is doing. We have regular LRV meetings that Mr. Forrest is in charge of. They have been going well. It is a result of those meetings that I prepared the report that I was going to give you today, and I'm happy to share that with the entire board as well. It's a complex project. It still is, for instance, a complete new fleet with an investment of $400 million, of which 80% is coming from the federal government. It changes our product, and it is a great investment, and it is, some of the fundamental pieces that we have. But with this upgrade, we do have several small issues that may not seem small. For instance, on this is a $6 million change order that we have in front of you, but it does mean that the system will be safer and more rigorous and able to operate better. That's our job.
Can I just add quickly, just to, to support what Talby is saying? This is not outside of the norm for projects of this scope, especially when dealing with legacy systems. We're going to run into track design issues. Now, what we're dealing with is not related to the earlier issue where we did drop the ball. This is par for the course, right? It's a part of the process, and the bottom line is that we need to get this right before those trains get here.
And I appreciate that. In all transparency, as Mr. Roach alluded to, I just want to make it clear and remind him that when I called the very first time, when I was told about the ball being dropped, as you say, I had not heard of anything about that situation. And there was another issue that I had brought to Mr. Roach about supposedly there was an issue with the tracks. The cars weren't going to fit on them. So, that's what I'm talking about. I don't want to be in a situation where I'm hearing it from within the organization or from the public before it's coming to us from our leadership. That's what I'm talking about. So I appreciate
it. If we have issues, we want to make sure that we're approaching this with transparency, and I think that we have. And so if we have issues, we will certainly elevate those issues, to Talby and to the board. And we're meeting every month. We have a full team now. We didn't have that before. We have every subject matter expert that needs to be at the table, where that didn't exist in the past. And so, we're doing a good job. I'd also like to add, look, this is my third LRV procurement that I've been involved in my career. Most people don't get involved in one procurement in their career. This is my third one. And these are the types of issues that you're going to run into, these track design issues when you're introducing a new fleet of vehicles.
I have a couple of follow-ups. I don't want to take too much time on this, but it is important, kind of with what Commissioner Simmons said as well. What we're hearing a little bit is that this is normal, and I get that this sort of thing happens with a project like this. Yet also, we're being asked to approve a sole source contract. Well, to me, sole source has some element of unforeseeability, emergency in it, and it's sounding like this wasn't that unforeseeable. It was foreseen, and it's been foreseen for months and months. Now, I'll say I think this has to be approved. I mean, we obviously can't not fix the thing. But where my mind is at on these sole source contracts is it doesn't help me a lot to be told that we have to spend $6 million in a sole source thing where there's no competitive bidding for a problem that we knew about for months and months that was foreseeable. Why weren't we, for the future, why aren't we looking at this 6, 8 months, a couple years down the line and saying, oh, this might be a problem. We might need some track rehab on this system. Let's start looking at getting that bid, because then maybe we could have got it for 5.2 or 5.5. Right now, we don't know that. We don't know if somebody would have given us a better bid, or so that's, sole source contracts of a high dollar amount like this, especially when we're told it was foreseeable. If it's foreseeable, then let's get some bids and see if we can get the best bang for the buck. I mean, that's just a comment moving forward. And the second question I guess I would have for Mr. Roach and anybody here, are we sure that we have done the full analysis of the impact of this LRV mismeasurement issue, and that we have identified all future costs overruns that will be associated with this? So we're not going to hear in 8 months that there's another $4 million rehab that if we done, and I'm not an engineer, I don't think anybody else on this board is an engineer, so we don't get the technical details of needs to be raised this much or that much. We trust our engineers and our experts to tell us that. But what we do pay attention to, what makes us kind of sit up, is when we're told there's an emergency, $6 million sole source thing. So are there any more financial surprises associated with that? Have we looked at that? Have we done that full analysis? And I would want to ask that the board be made aware of that, and that for future contracts like this, if it is foreseeable, then let's foresee it and try to get multiple bids, because we're asking our funding partners for a lot of money here, and I understand that this is largely federally funded, but there's still an impact. So that would be my concern going forward.
So these are excellent questions. Let me take a couple of them one at a time, and I appreciate you granting me the time to be sure that I'm answering these things thoroughly, because they're very, very good. We could elect not to do sole source associated with expansion of the KCI. For instance, if you didn't vote for this today, the problem is time. By expanding KCI's contract while they're mobilized with an experienced contractor who's been doing a good job on Union Station, in that exact location, we're able to stack essentially that construction timing together, thereby making a better timeline associated with single tracking, okay, which results in an innovative way to try to discommode our customers. And that is in the briefing paper, and a very, very important component when we're analyzing these things. We want to avoid single tracking whenever possible, and be sure that we have a safe working environment to go with. So there's multiple related issues associated with some of the engineering. The other has to do with essentially track timing. And Millstone Weber, through the engineering teams in both this and the McDonald Tunnel, allows us to use experienced contractors that already have safety certification to move on the line, and where we can expand an additional contract. Secondly, to move to LRV, when we moved forward and had the issue with the tunnel and with the measurement, which has been well documented, and we changed things around, I did hire Ron Forrest, who has, as he told you, has a lot of experience with these kind of projects. So what Ron did was he started with a monthly meeting, an LRV meeting, which I invite any of you to attend. I attend it occasionally. It's an excellent meeting. And so that's one where everyone, including the consultants, including Siemens, has a coordination meeting to be sure that we don't have these issues. It was brought by this board to be in this same comment, to be absolutely sure that we were belt and suspenders sure where all of these impacts were. So one of the things that came out of that meeting is that we ordered what is called a LiDAR examination of the entire system, and that's using LiDAR from end to end to be sure that there weren't any unknown or unforeseen what are called interferences. Interferences can happen in many, many different ways. For instance, we had an interference where it's not an electrical box, it's the door to the electrical box if it happens to be open. We have an engineering and a safety obligation to identify that, but there will be fixes like we won't move the whole box, we'll simply be sure we have a procedure that it works. Or as an example, in Union Station, one of the things that we can do is got an analysis from the LRV team to prevent some of the static electricity load, and Hatch team did a full analysis of that. We can move our speeds from roughly 48 miles an hour to 27 miles an hour between Stadium and 8th and Pine. This takes 9 seconds out of our schedule, but allows us to increase those safety barriers. All of those are within a very detailed analysis and are the things that we are talking about. I did at the last meeting ask the team to put a report together, which I will share with the entire board about all of these issues. What are the things we do? How do we mitigate for these issues? Is it a really big issue? Is it a small issue? I'll give you as an example. There is at Ewing, a very important facility to us. There, as it was originally built, when the trains come in at a curve into the overall maintenance facility, on the existing trains, you have to fold the mirrors in before you go in, just like a lot of you do at home. Very normal thing, right? You fold the mirrors in so they don't hit the side of your garage, okay? Technically, the engineering team has to identify that as an interference. It is true, it is a technical interference. And for instance, what we will do is we will have an established procedures that when the new train moves in, they got to fold the mirrors in, okay? But like what Mr. Simmons has here, look, we have a lot of employees and there's a lot of talking that goes on. And for instance, what Mr. Simmons, Commissioner Simmons, I'm sorry, might get a phone call is they'll say, it doesn't fit in that garage. No, it does fit in the garage. You simply got to fold the mirrors in, okay? I know it may seem a little bit absurd to go through some of these issues, but they are indeed in this report and they are the details that we talk about. And for instance, when you deal with a legacy track that is this old and detailed, it's very, very important that we are making the adjustments to the ballast and being sure that we are producing a system that is as safe as possible. But I do not blame, and I think that the questions are, I am happy that we're having the questions and I'm happy that we're doing the report. This is a huge investment. We need to be working on these issues. Commissioner Simmons is actually absolutely accurate that sometimes he hears about things that I may not know about. Yes, folks, sometimes that does happen. But what I do is I welcome you to call me and question me on that, question me within this purview, demand that you see some reports from me about them. I'm happy to put them together and be sure that you see that we have a plan and we have a professional approach.
Mr. Chairman, just one follow-up on that conversation, and I know we're beating a dead horse here to death, but my concern goes back to one of the initial statements is when I hear these information from either the consumer, from the workforce or whatever, and then when I investigate it through Mr. Roach, he always does get back with me. I give him 100% full credit with that. My concern of that is why does it take it having to be brought to our leadership's attention if we have all of the, if you look at the layer of responsible people we have, and we are paying, if they're not relaying that information on to him or his staff, that's the internal problem that I'm addressing. I'm the one that talked about the trails, the rails. I heard about the supposedly a new garage door was going to have to be put in to accommodate the mirror issue. And then when I brought it to his attention, he did find out, get back with me. So that tells me that there is that problem out there, that somebody's just not relaying that information. So that's where I think the leadership needs to take that control, whoever that may be, and make sure that information is being relayed to the appropriate people. So thank you for all that information as we move forward here.
Are there any other questions or comments on this?
Yeah, I'd just like to say one last thing, that I would just encourage you all, if you all don't hear from the project team, then, you know, there should be some suspicion around what individuals are saying. We have an expansive project team in place right now. All the subject matters experts are involved that need to be involved now, that didn't exist before, right? And so now we're better able to foresee, you know, take a longer term view of and a more comprehensive view of project needs. All right. And we're not going to be able to guarantee that we won't find something, but this project team is in place. And if there's something out there we haven't found, then is hiding pretty well. All right. We review progress. We meet monthly. We review progress. We create next steps. We also have a core project team that meets on a bi-weekly basis. So, you know, we are, you know, on top of these project needs. And if if individuals are going to, you know, speak on what's going on the project, I would say that they're not fully aware. Okay.
Well, and I disagree with that too, Ron, because everything that I have brought to Mr. Roach's attention, he's verified. So I don't think the employees or the consumer or writers out there, they're not dreaming this stuff up. And for them to be able to be on point with what they're pointing out, I'm thankful for every message that I get. That's my job as a commissioner, to receive that information and pass it on. And that's exactly what I'm going to continue to do.
And I appreciate that. And I would just say that if there's a problem that they're relaying, then, you know, if it hasn't come from us, then there's most likely a solution that we've identified. So we're going to have problems, right? But we're also going to have solutions. And yeah, you're right about the door, right? That was a problem, but we had a solution for it. So it wasn't anything that we
$6
couldn't
million
overcome.
project. That's my concern. So let's nip these in the bud before, as the chairman said, before they become a $6 million project. So I'm off my soap opera on that. We'll move on to the next one.
Okay.
Okay. As I said, I think it's important that I intend to support this, but I did want to lay down the marker of, you know, again, the attention on these sole source contracts, and if it's foreseeable, let's foresee it. Okay. I think we've had a good discussion on this. Is there a motion do I have a motion and a second to approve this item as submitted? I'll make the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Here, a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Reluctantly, aye.
Aye.
I hear you. Any opposed? Any abstentions? The motion passed. On to item number 12, track rehabilitation near McDonald Boulevard Tunnel. I will ask Ron Forrest and Kelly Ham again for comments on this.
All right, similar to Union Station, we're seeking authorization to issue a sole source contract to Millstone Weber to rehabilitate the track structure within and near the McDonald Boulevard Tunnel. Again, our maintenance of way team has identified the track and ballast area requires replacement, and the project will also adjust the track profile to improve tunnel clearance, aligned with current standards and reduce safety risks such as electrical arcing. It is important that we complete this work again, before the arrival and testing of our new light rail vehicles to avoid safety conflicts and also potential delays in commissioning. So we are recommending a sole source approach because Millstone Weber, again, they're already performing nearby track work as with the other contractor. They're mobilized, they have a workforce trained on our system. And so this positions them to complete this work efficiently with minimal disruption. And using a separate contractor, as we've been saying, would increase costs, extend timelines, and add operational complexity. Final design for this will be completed by STV Incorporated with Millstone Weber handling construction. This project will be funded through FY24 federal formula grant funds and Prop M local matching funds. Additionally, two impending, and we've had discussions about this during the last on the last briefing paper, but two impending operational factors make this rehabilitation critical in the near term. First, the City of St. Louis and Lambert Airport are currently developing plans to rehabilitate Metrolink Terminal 1 platform surface. And this work will require an approximately 60-day closure of Metrolink operations in the vicinity of the McDonald Tunnel. Coordinating tunnel track rehabilitation during this time, during the same closure period, would allow Metro to complete both projects simultaneously while minimizing additional service disruption to our Metrolink passengers. The second thing is the section of the Metrolink alignment between Lambert Airport and Ewing Yard is planned to be used for dynamic testing for our new vehicles. This is scheduled to begin in 2027. Staff are completing all necessary infrastructure and track rehabilitation projects within this corridor prior to the arrival of our new vehicles so that the alignment can be dedicated to this critical testing and commissioning activities without operational conflicts or delay. So based on these factors, we're requesting the Operations Committee recommends the Board of Commissioners authorize President and CEO Tavi Roach to enter into a sole source contract with Millstone Weber in an amount not to exceed $3,445,475, which also includes a 10% contingency for track rehabilitation near McDonald Boulevard Tunnel. This proposed contract end date is January 31st, 2027.
Are there any questions or comments for Mr. Forrest?
I have some, but they would just be repetitive to the other one. So thank you.
Agreed. Is there a motion and a second to approve this item as submitted?
So moved.
Second.
Hearing a motion and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Reluctantly, aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? The motion passed. I'm now going to turn it over to Mr. Roach here for a special introduction.
Thank you, Commissioners. As I mentioned to you today, we are joined by a special guest, Councilwoman Shalonda Webb from District 4 in St. Louis County. Currently, the Councilwoman serves as the chair of the St. Louis County Council, and as I mentioned, we are moving through a budget process, and the Councilwoman's been instrumental in those. She has moved us into a new process called the CDL process, which I think is Council Designated Liaison, and Councilwoman Webb is that liaison for us. We have already had a few of those meetings. I would say that they are detailed and productive. We have gotten down to all kinds of details, both with service and with finances. And I want to not only introduce her, but also thank her for her time and dedication associated with that. So with that, I want to introduce to you the Honorable Councilwoman Webb from the District 4 of St. Louis County. Councilwoman?
Good morning, everybody, and thank you so much, Mr. Talby, for introductions. That was really kind and generous for saying that I'm a nerd and I like to look at details, and I am no longer the chair of the St. Louis County Council, but I am the budget chair. So I get have all the fun. And so appreciate those kind words. I am here not just as the budget chair, but I represent District 4. District 4 compromises a part of North County that's I call Deep North. So that's Bell Fountain, Blackjack, Riverview, all of Florissant, and everything unincorporated in between, including Glasgow, Castle Point, Spanish Lake, Barrington Downs, and so on and so forth. And so that district is very diverse in the people that it served, from economical standings and also from life experiences. And so I thank you for recognizing me from being a member of the council as the budget chair, but my passion and call for bothering you and interrupting your meeting today is as the representative of the 4th District. I have been working with Mr. Talby Roach and Mr. Ronnie and his predecessor, Chuck Stewart, for some time now, and always been a strong champion for Bi-State because I know accessibility and mobility change the standard of people's lives. And so I should have started by saying an engineer from Boeing for 26 years, so that's why I dig into the details, and that's why they have to talk to me like I'm a 3rd grader to make sure I understand, and then for me to dig deeper. Since I joined this council back in 2021, I have been intentional about the services, the equitable services for District 4 in all aspects of life, and transportation and Bi-State is no exception. Great partnership here. I acknowledge that, and I'm grateful for that. There are some challenges, and I wanted to make sure that I came before this board and there was no misunderstanding about the challenges and the needs that are in District 4. District 4, again, is very diverse, and public transportation is going to be key to its future. Not only the current residents, but the opportunity that Wild Care Park brings forward. And I hope when I ask this question, everybody raise their hand. Is everybody familiar with Wild Care Park, the St. Louis Zoo Safari? And we'll look at people's eyes and hands to make sure that it's not foreign to you. We are excited about this opportunity because it has a forecast of bringing over 400,000 visitors a year, with a fiscal note of approximately $660 million over the next 10 years. Easy math for me, $66 million a year. What is going to be key is ensuring that not only is the community prepared, but access to this great attraction is available. And that is why I have to come and plead in front of Bi-State to not only talk about that bright future, but to ensure that we don't miss in communication my understanding of the services that Bi-State provides to District 4. When COVID hit, 3 bus lanes were removed from District 4. I don't know the numbers by memory, but 71 is always a part of that conversation. When COVID hit, we understood suspending those services because of the situation COVID brought upon us. As we recovered from COVID, I remember what Mr. Ronnie's predecessor, Mr. Chuck Stewart, brought forth the idea of VIA to be a pilot program, an intermittent solution until we can restore services. And so I was happy to raise my hand and say, in District 4, we will be that pilot, or I would call guinea pig, to see how great this service could be as an extension or a complement to service. And they have gotten great feedback from VIA. Now, I believe some of that feedback is because there is no other services in that area, but also I believe that it's a good complement. The key word being complement. And so as I've talked with Mr. Ronnie and Ms. Tammy and Mr. Talby, I have assured them that District 4 needs fixed line bus service. We need that bus service so we can connect the workforce with the work opportunities. We need that bus service to ensure that we have opportunities for those visitors to get to and from, I hope, between downtown and North County. We need those bus services to keep District 4 from being shut off from the rest of the world. Call a ride service is tied to fixed service. And because those 3 lines are no longer there, we can no longer have call a rides that once exist there. Now, the great thing is that Mr. Ronnie and Mr. Talby is not just hearing my noise, but they are responding to it by saying we will come up with an alternative. I just want to make sure that that alternative fits the needs that we have in District 4. And if we replace 3 lines with just 1, what else are we going to do to ensure that those community members are served? As I mentioned, those 3 lines were removed during COVID. The funding for those 3 lines did not get removed. That is a part of Bi-State's budget. And even though through a business decision, you may have decided to take those funds and expend them in other areas with some creativity and innovation, that budget was for 3 bus lines in District 4, not via service in District 4. So I need us to work together as we make a decision on how we move forward to properly fund Bi-State and to ensure that District 4 gets the services that was once there or improvement service. Now, I am not blind to the fact, as a pragmatic person, that the roads that the buses travel down, the lack of sidewalks where bus terminals could be, is a challenge. And that is why the decision on how we move forward, even as Talby and his team are coming up with a recommendation of legislation, I have to be mindful of, I'm kind of in a catch-22, because the thing is, can we bring those bus lines back? Oh, well, if we bring those bus lines back, we need roads that they can properly travel on and sidewalks where you can put bus terminals. So taking all of that in consideration, I want to make an informed decision on how we adequately fund Bi-State for 2027. And we're moving rapid with multiple meetings, Toby and I and Ronnie and Tammy, because I know that your budget starts in July. But I want to make sure that it's clear with the board of some of those challenges and hard decisions I'm going to have to make in order to adequately budget for your 2027 year. If it's allowed, I will take questions, but I will now yield back to Talby and the commissioner.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Very, very helpful. And I just think it's a good message for the board to hear what our ongoing discussions are. As a matter of fact, our next meeting is May 21st. We're looking forward to that. Councilwoman has asked us, and we're trying to come up with an innovative approach of a combination between the number 71. You're right, very good with the numbers. You remembered the route, number 71, with a hybrid type idea that also takes care of Wild Care Park. Wild Care Park is a tremendous economic opportunity for the greater St. Louis area. Beyond the visitors, just like St. Louis Zoo, we take quite a few of those young men and women who are out selling slushies at the St. Louis Zoo right now. It's a great summer job, great opportunity, and will be afforded in North County as well. So Ron was talking to me about a specific shuttle service that we want to propose with that idea, along with some hybrids of ideas. Some of them may hit at the very end of this fiscal year when we're putting them in implementation, but we're having those difficult conversations right now. I will say it. We had a part of that. The councilwoman came to the commission meeting as well to voice some of her concerns. St. Louis County Commission meeting. It's an additional meeting we have as well, mostly with transit advocates. But we have to come through some of those hard choices, one of which is maybe some sinking funds for sidewalks in the area, which is a big need in North County. So anyway, I know it's a lot of details. I want to be sure that the board is being informed and we're being respectful of time. So thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Councilwoman, for coming. I wanted I appreciate hearing your concerns for the members, for the folks that you represent in the 4th District. It is always important to us to hear not just from the public, but also from the people that represent them. So thank you for bringing those conversations forward, and I trust that those conversations will continue with Talby and Ron, and the board will stay informed as well. But I really want to thank you for coming here and laying out these concerns in the public so we can all, dissect them and move forward in a way that that is equitable and gets transit across the region. So thank you so much for that.
And thank you, Commissioner Sam. I just want you all to know that I value our working relationships. We've been working together extremely well, and we will work through this hard together and come up with an adequate solution that both can live with. Thank you again so much.
Thank you. Okay, we are moving on to item number 13, operating agreements, resolution 1493. I will ask Tammy Paris for comments.
Good morning, Commissioners. So each year, Bi-State negotiates 3 contracts with St. Clair County Transit District. The contracts this morning are for budget year FY 2027 and are inclusive of the rail and maintenance operating contract for an amount of $38,340,500. This amount is an increase of 1.5% from the prior year. The bus and maintenance operating contract in the amount of $26,860,894, also a 1.5% increase from the prior year. As you know, our goal and target is a 1.5% increase each year on the budget, and this meets that goal. So these 2 contracts total $65,201,394. In addition to that, we have an ATS service and maintenance agreement, and costs related to this contract are based on rates determined by service performed. So we are asking for approval of these 3 contracts, and I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Are there any questions? Hearing none, is there a motion and a second to approve this item as submitted? I'll make the motion.
Second.
Hearing a motion and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? The motion passed. Item number 14, contract modification to Bolivar Cleaning Facility, Resolution 1494. I will ask Greg Lenars for his comments.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Tom Curran could not be with us today, so I'm presenting this matter on his behalf. We are asking today for the Board of Commissioners to approve a 90-day no-cost extension of contract 20 RFP 106720 for the Bolivar facility cleaning. Earlier today on the consent agenda, the bus cleaning contract for the Bolivar was approved as part of the consent agenda. When these contracts were issued 5 years ago, bus and facility cleaning were joined as one contract. Through some concerns that our folks who've overseen that contract and concerns that I've mentioned in previous board meetings about these cleaning contracts, they required a little more detailed oversight, and so they've been split out into a bus cleaning contract and a facility cleaning contract so that those contracts are separated and reviewed separately. We did have in the consent agenda a new provider for the bus contract. It was previously Merged Goodwill and is now World Management. A similar process is now going on and will be brought to the board at the May-June cycle. So you'll be seeing this at the May committee and the June final board approval for the facility cleaning aspect that has been split out. But in order to split those out and have those same folks review those contracts, they've been set separately. And thus a 90-day extension is needed on the existing contract so that we can complete that review process and bring it to you all in the May-June cycle and award the contract at that time. I'm happy to take any questions.
Are there any questions for Greg on this? Hearing none, is there a motion and a second to approve this item as submitted?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Hearing a motion and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The motion passed. Unscheduled business, Mr. Roach, is there any unscheduled business today?
I have none, Chairman. Thank you.
Okay. On to the operations report. Mr. Forrest, you are back up for comments on the operation report.
Okay, let me pull up my presentation here. And I want to be respectful of time, so I will try to keep this as brief and to the point as I can. I just need to share. Okay. Everybody can see that?
Yes.
All right, so thanks for the opportunity to provide an update on Metro Transit operations. We will go ahead and get started with our workforce update. Here's a snapshot of our workforce levels. As you can see, we continue making progress in operator recruitment and hiring, particularly with our full-time Metro bus operators, where staffing levels are nearing our set target. We have 614 of 619 of those positions filled. We're also gaining ground in increasing our part-time operator workforce, to which we've recently shifted focus. We're about halfway there. The number is 63 and we're at 31. We've also reached our Colorado full-time operator count. Now, 9 of those operators started this week in training, but they'll be graduating in June, and we're expecting to be at that 200 count of operators that are actively working by then. Now, we're working on filling our 15 part-time Colorado operator vacancies. We have 5 of those 20 filled, so we've shifted focus to those part-time positions. Now, staffing shortages, as you can see, remain in vehicle maintenance and specialized maintenance positions, but we are working towards improving those numbers. We've modernized our hiring processes, which have paid huge dividends for us, through virtual interviews and streamlined onboarding. We are continuing to develop our apprenticeship programs for our maintenance departments. We've expanded our outreach efforts aimed at building a stronger long-term workforce pipeline for that group. For instance, on April 22nd, our team, at the request of Commissioner Moore, visited the CAVE facility in East St. Louis. We met with the Executive Director of Communications and Strategic Partnership to discuss how we can align their programs with the maintenance opportunities that we have. We also visited East St. Louis High School and to perform that same type of outreach. So we're hoping that those pipelines will pay dividends for us. Transit ridership, as you all can see, continues to grow across all service modes. All riders, overall service ridership, overall system ridership is up nearly 7% on the fiscal year, with Metro Bus increasing by 8% and Colorado On Demand continuing to increase exponentially. They're at 30% now. And so while these trends reflect that strong demand and growing confidence in our system, they do create those operational pressures related to staffing and paratransit capacity. All right, here's a snapshot of Colorado. The demand continues to increase at a significant pace, creating operational and financial challenges. In response, we have implemented updated no-show and late cancellation policies to improve efficiency and service availability. Okay. We've also implemented additional on-demand strategies. We've discussed this in previous meetings that include our overflow partnerships. So about 10% of our Colorado service is going to our VIA vendor who performs our microtransit service. And we've also, increased travel training initiatives to encourage greater use of accessible fixed route service when appropriate. We have a service change coming up in June 15th. The focus is primarily on improving schedule reliability, operator recovery time, and passenger transfers. We try to make improvements with every one of our schedule picks, and those improvements are based on operator feedback as well as our customer feedback, as well as things that we are monitoring as a planning leadership team. We're also preparing for several major operational initiatives later this year, including Mid-America service planning, bus bridge operations, and construction schedule related to overall and construction schedule adjustments. All right, bus stop improvements. Okay. All right, we continue investing in our bus stop improvements. We've secured some grant funding. Our current efforts focus on 40 locations where we will be adding amenities that include shelters, benches, and other improvements at prioritized locations throughout St. Louis County. Our team in planning and facilities maintenance are currently in the coordination phase, which includes identifying necessary vendor support. As you all know, these are a high priority for us because they improve safety, accessibility, and the overall customer experience. Our Transit Access Center on May 18th, we'll have the grand opening of our recently relocated Transit Access Center at North County Transit Center. This is a great location. It'll improve accessibility and coordination of customer services, including travel training, reduced fare permits, and ADA paratransit eligibility service. So here are some timelines here. Monday will be open for business. All right, and finally, community engagement remains an important part of our ridership growth and workforce recruitment strategy. Participation in regional events continue helping us strengthen it. Public awareness, community partners, and interest in career opportunities at Metro. So in closing, overall, Metro, we continue making meaningful progress in workforce stabilization, as you guys have seen. Our ridership recovery continues at a very robust pace. Operational planning and customer focused investments are continuing. At the same time, we remain focused on addressing our long-term workforce infrastructure and service reliability challenges while continuing to provide a safe, reliable, and accessible transit experience. This concludes my presentation. So if you have any questions.
Are there any questions for Mr. Forrest?
Yeah, Ron, do you have an update on the negotiations with the mechanics moving forward?
Yeah, well, we recently were at the negotiating table. We've had 2 negotiating sessions in the last couple of months. We made a lot of progress. We were able to come to tentative agreements on some things. Our next round of negotiations, and this is all, being dictated by ATU International representative schedule. But our next round of negotiations is scheduled for the latter part of June. We've mapped out additional sessions if they're needed for the rest of the year. So we're making good progress.
Are they scheduling these negotiations, or are we doing it on our time?
Well, it's a collaborative effort. It's mainly based on ATU International's availability. So their negotiator, their chief negotiator, is negotiating multiple contracts across the country, and so his schedule is he doesn't have a lot of space in his schedule. So
okay, thank you.
Any further questions or comments for Mr. Forrest? Okay, thank you for that report. Call for dates of future meetings. Ms. Bennett, can you provide a summary?
Yes, Chair. The next Audit, Finance, and Administration Committee meeting, as well as the next Operations Committee, will be held on Thursday, May 28th, beginning at 8:30 a.m. We understood as of yesterday that as far as the Board of Commissioners meeting that is scheduled for June 25th, we will not have a quorum for that meeting. We are in the process of identifying alternate dates, and we are hoping to get those dates finalized within the next few days.
Thank you. And I owe you a response on one of those June dates. I know I'm good for 2 of them, but I'll let you know.
Thank you.
Okay, on to item number 18. Mr. Roach, is there any need to go into executive session today?
There is a brief executive session.
Okay. Let's see here. Do I have a I will request a motion and a second that the board go into executive session for the purpose of discussing legal, confidential, or privileged matters as permitted under Bi-State Development Board Policy, Chapter 10, Section 10.080D, closed reports, D1 legal, and D10 auditors. Is there a motion and a second?
Moore moves.
Second.
Hearing a motion and a second, would you please call the roll, Ms. Bennett?
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Jackson Jennings,
Yes.
Commissioner Cox,
Yes.
Commissioner Galladay,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Simmons,
Yes.
and Commissioner Gladney.
Yes.
The motion passed.
Thank you.